Joel, let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of a game called Super Auto Pets?
I remember hearing you mention this before, and I was like Jensen, he's finally lost it. No, I haven't. It's Super Auto Pets.
Super Auto Pets. All right. Imagine this. You take all of the emojis that are like the animals and like the food, and you put that into a game that looks like it's designed to teach toddlers the alphabet, but instead it's actually like a really deep strategy game that's kind of taking the online world by storm.
I mean, it sounds pretty insane. Is it free?
It is free, and it's very addictive. Yeah, it's a ton of fun. Basically, you just you get a certain amount of money each turn, and then you buy these pets, and they all have different abilities. Like a turtle will put armor on the guy behind him when he dies, stuff like that.
Oh, snap.
And then the goal is to get 10 wins before you lose all your hearts. And then you go up against real people's teams, like asynchronously. So it's teams that they've built at your same turn. So it's like comparatively about the same strength, and then you try to like think of different strategies. Anyway, I've been playing it way too much, and it is a blast, and I want to play it with you sometime. But it's so much fun. But it looks like a game for little babies. But it's great.
Let's do it. Let's get it done. I'm here for that.
Welcome back to the SpewnedIt Podcast.
Yo guys, it's Joel Brown. This is my really good friend Jensen Anderson. And today, fortunately, we're not talking about whatever it's called, Super Auto Farm pet animal things, whatever it's going to be. But I was thinking about this the other day, gents, because like we've had some good video game times. Okay, you know, we've been playing video games since way back. If anything, it was probably something that like really just cemented our friendship. And so I want us today to go over just a few like the top picks of those ones that have just a really secure place in our hearts. And I'm going to kick it off with a really strong one, Lego Rock Band. Okay,
Classic.
Now what is the first thing that comes to mind when I mention that? Just like the first little mental picture.
Hens, chicks. 4 hens, chicks.
Boom. Now, Jensen and I, after you guys are thinking, what is going on? After we'd beaten the game quite a few times. We were actually starting to enjoy the music that was being played. Mm-hmm. This is on a little DS, remember? Because to be fair, gents, like the music selection was pretty good. Like there was some Queen tracks. There was David Bowie. There was a song from the Automatic. Yeah, bro, there was some good music.
Kansas,
but
probably.
After we'd obviously beaten it a ridiculous amount of times, we were like, look, what are we gonna do now? So then, as Jensen mentioned, we made our ultimate band, which was called the 4 Hens Chicks. Right. Now, this was obviously a 4-piece girl band who they all had the same. So obviously, you could build like your Lego characters, but the 4 Hens Chicks, they all had the same Lego face because the game had only made one female face. So I remember them all having like different colors, hair and everything like that, and different outfits. But gents, that was a really good time, man. Like I miss that game. It holds a place in my heart for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just going through playing the songs, you'd unlock a new venue. We all had like, could you build? Love it. You couldn't like build your van, right? It was just the people. Anyway, I remember the band car, and anyway. Such a great time, and for
good time.
Yeah, it was essentially just like a music education for us as well in the middle of it all. And I mean, keeping with the theme of Legos, we've got 3 Lego games here in our top 5. That says something about us as well, I think. There's a Flash game that was on Lego.com at some point that we played a ton. It was called Lego, the Robot Chronicles. I think it was the Robot Chronicles, Lego.com. And
so good.
I don't even remember when this game came out. I think probably around 2010, 2011 maybe, if I had to put a number to it.
I'd say.
And it was like our dream because the whole thing was you drive around these different cars in the Lego city, complete challenges, do races, and it was kind of in their like Lego Agents theme as well, which we had already played a bunch of because I had one of the sets and we made it like bases and all this stuff. So we'd already been doing all these things, and then they put it in like video game form. And man, we would just trade off doing different tracks, different races, and there's so many different vehicles as well. Yeah. Anyway, Joel, you have any specific memories about the Robot Chronicles?
I think a big thing for me is obviously, I mean, the game was it was top down 2D kind of style, And just really clever dynamics, man. And like like you said, gents, we loved it. Played through numerous times, and it was just exactly what we were after. I mean, unfortunately, it's been a while, but I have a similar thing of like we found this, and that first experience was like, whoa, where has this been? And just a crazy game that just kept us entertained so many times. And on that theme of like a game that we just constantly could go back to, I feel like this is a bit more of a house classic. Motherlode, classic, going back to the mini clip days. Oh my gosh, what a classic! Now, Jensen, you had played this loads with Brevin for like years and years before, I believe.
Never beat it though.
Never beat it. And then for some reason we decided to revisit it when we were in Uganda on some sort of sleepover, and then we kind of just really got back into it. And obviously one of the funny bits is when your employer in the game, Mr. Natus, actually turns out to be the villain because he has red eyes and his name and like red skin, or was it black? Anyway, and his name, his name is basically like Satan backwards. So it's kind of like you can kind of tee it up and see it coming. But
if you weren't just an 11-year-old child, it's not very smart. Exactly. Just a lot of fun. Gents, is there like any sort of in particular memory that stands out for you with that? Of course, there was one particular day when we were at your house. We had played Motherlode. We had used up our time for the day or whatever. Yeah. And I remember we went back into your room. We had a little notebook, and we started like writing down our next steps in the game and what we were gonna do. The next time we come around. We were gonna buy, the shield next so that we could withstand the lava or whatever. And then, of course, in the end game, you have unlimited money, and so we're just going to the shop, clicking buy because there's no like. Number you can just buy. Yeah, exactly. So we're just clicking a whole bunch of times, just goes cha-ching, 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 and you buy, hundreds of C4s and fuel and health just to literally like blast our way to the bottom of the thing and beat the map, dude. What a game.
We took that game very, very seriously.
Oh yeah.
And like because I loved it because we used to tag team the boss battle. One of us would be moving, and then the other would just be like spamming the health and the and the C4 button, just like taking turns one at a time. But had to be done, and like once we'd beaten it once, it was like, oh mate, we know how to do this. Yeah, took it very seriously.
Speaking of classics, at least for us, and I think this one's more of a global classic if I'm being real, but Age of Empires 2. Was one that me and again my older brother played for years beforehand, but we never really learned how to play it because all we would do is go in to the campaign, use a bunch of cheats to try and win because we didn't know what we were doing, quite frankly. And it wasn't until this guy named Luke, who was a college student at JBU at the time, John Brown. Anyway, he came and visited, and he heard that we played, and he was like, "Oh, that's sweet. Like I play with my college friends all the time," and he showed us the way, Joel. He taught us how to actually play the game, how you need like 70 villagers. You're constantly getting food, getting wood, building your armies, building, getting your walls up, blocking off areas. He showed us actually how to play the game. And more importantly, even, he showed us how to create a local area network so that we could all play with each other, which was an absolute huge game changer of a revelation for us at the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely massive. When was that the Master Luke had like came over to show you guys the way? When was that?
Dude, it was probably like 2009.
Because I don't remember that at all.
It was early, yeah.
Wow, I don't remember that at all. Like one of my memories for that, funnily enough, was that I didn't have a laptop when I was when we probably started like becoming mates. I didn't have a laptop. I'd been given a DS, which was obviously a lot of fun. I appreciate my parents for that a lot. But like we obviously grew up with like different devices, so I couldn't exactly play Age of Empires on my DS, unfortunately. And so I remember for the first bit, like feeling like I was missing out by not having a laptop. Obviously, eventually, kind of just got over it, and like doing all-nighters with a stupid amount of AOE, and then like fresh pancakes in the morning.
Classic.
Like playing with special maps that we were able to download, and making custom maps as well. Absolutely wicked, and just something that we look back now when we're like, wow, what a time. And gents, I wanna finish off this top 5 with a sneaky double, but something that I think you and I can both definitely look back on with extreme fondness.
Oh, yeah.
Is the third Lego game that we're having on our top 5 is Lego Racers 1 and 2.
Yep.
Both stupidly good games. Now, I was first introduced to the Lego Racers series when I was either given or I bought Lego Racers 2. Obviously, we played it through, to the ends of the earth. Really, really good. A lot of fun. Now, I remember that after this, gents, we got talking about how you had played the first one a bunch of times as well. What happened after that? Because I do remember playing it. How did you manage to get your hands on that again?
Man, I don't even know how it happened exactly, but somehow I found the file on our old laptop and we got it running. I think it was really janky.
Way.
It wouldn't save the progress or something, but anyway, we were able to actually boot it up and play it, and I was able to show you, and it was certainly dated and it lacked a lot of the extra features that Lego Racers 2 had, but I think the racing itself and the maps were pretty polished, especially for 1999 Lego game.
Yeah.
And man, there's still just so many good times with that one as well. But I think Lego Racers 2 probably takes the cake as far as the ones you and I played the most together. But they definitely are kind of a package deal in that they're not super long games, But
no, exactly.
No, it's
exactly. Similar to the Robot Chronicles, though. It was Lego and it was racing, and those two, at that age, we were that is what we're about, and so that was so huge, having the customization abilities as well. And Lego Racers 2, I remember, had a much more open world feel to it, and just basically at the end of the day, a really, really quality made game. I don't see that top 5 list changing for a long time. And I think obviously a lot of what this has to do is the fact that these were games that we both played, and that's why they were so sick, because we, it wasn't playing them at separate times or even playing online. We were both there, shoulder to shoulder with these games, which is why they were so dope. Obviously, as I'm sure you guys know, there'll be a few Carbon would usually be on this list. We thought you guys might be sick of hearing us talking about that. That's kind of a given, that would just be on this list. And I tell you what, gents, this was a lot harder to make than I thought. Once we started pumping out the ideas of the games we played, I was like, wow, this is really hard to trim it down to 5.
Yeah, we had a list of 15 to 20 when we started out here. We just kept pumping them out, and we had to chop down hard in order to curate a list that we could actually talk about in 15 minutes or less, because there are a lot of games that we played together that we have fond memories of. But these are definitely the ones that take the cake as far as the most fun, the most collaborative we had, and the most specific special memories that we had while playing them together, across our years of friendship at this point. So it's just been it's been a blast actually, revisiting all of these and just thinking about the memories. It's so nostalgic for me. And if any of you guys out there have by chance played any of these games, let us know in the comments. What's a fun memory have you had? Have you ever been stormed by a bunch of longbowmen in Age of Empires 2 and absolutely rolled because there's literally nothing else that can outrange them? Or have you been blown up by Mr. Natus and Motherlode? Give us a shout. Let us know. You can find us at SpewnedIt on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe. We're always there. So from Joel and I here at the SpewnedIt Podcast, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.